Constantine. She's an expert on human behavior and body language. We've also got Gary Brucato, a clinical psychologist whose area of expertise is psychotic illness and violence. Dr. Brucato co-wrote this book, The New Evil, Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime. Dr. Brucato, I'll start with you. A lot of people are calling Bryan Kohberger a psychopath. Is that the right term that we should be using?
Require an examination.
Okay, we can't hear Dr. Brucato. Oh, there you are. Sorry, you were silent. Start over. Here, we got you now.
It's not really possible to diagnose somebody with something like psychopathy from an armchair. It would require an extensive examination, at least a review of records. But the reality is that certainly there are traits here that would warrant looking into that. The important thing to remember is that a portion of people who have psychopathic traits also have what might be called schizoid autistic detachment, which has nothing to do necessarily with autism. It means that a person has a kind of cold, alien-like, rote quality where that person can think of the victims in a very objectified way, like a scientist working on a sample as opposed to a human being. And I think whatever's going on here, that mechanical detachment figures very heavily into the way this was done and the way he was presenting in court.
Yeah, it's interesting you say alien-like. That's also the way that one of the victim's sisters, Olivia, described him, as almost being like an alien when she was locked eyes with him. Susan, what do you make of his demeanor, the posture, the lack of facial expressions? I mean, you were looking at him during the sentencing. What's your read?
Well, it's not changed. Ever since, even when he was pulled over in his car, he always had that very odd stalker-like fixation in his eyes when he was making contact with someone. This has been very consistent throughout. It hasn't changed. So when I'm looking at his demeanor, he's very controlled. He's in a what we call in a very fixated position. His eyes are very wide and open, almost as if he's somewhat paranoid, but he is hyper vigilant. He's hyper aware of everything that's going on around him. He shows little bit of emotion. Every now and then you might see a slight tightening of the lips, or more slightly furrowed of the eyebrows, or more the orbital muscles will tighten up, especially when he was listening to some of those impact statements where the anger, you could see it start to slightly morph and the intensity started to raise, but it was ever so slight because he masks his emotions. And I think part of it is because he cannot show genuine emotions. So whether that's cognitive, neurological, his some sort of psychological issues that he's had, or his autism, where he can't read emotions or emote emotions correctly. But there's definitely something that is creating that distance between one person to another, so they're not feeling any sense of warmth or genuineness from him.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that, Dr. Brucato, what Susan said, because it's something that I've wondered while I was sitting in the courtroom. And I know you can't see inside his brain, obviously, but is he masking how he's feeling? Is he feeling something deep down, or is he actually feeling nothing?
I think this is a good example of where there's a distinction between empathy and compassion. Empathy is the skill of being able to read feeling on other people's faces and then react. Compassion has to do with caring about how they feel. Some killers have empathy but lack compassion, and they use that as a tool for luring somebody, for example, in distress, reading their feelings, saying, "You look frightened, let me help you," and then winding up killing the individual or doing horrible things to them because they don't care about them. What you have here is somebody who doesn't even seem to have the wherewithal to fake that basic empathy. Is a sort of a detached quality to the point of not even understanding that it might behoove you, for example, even to pretend that you have some modicum of sorrow or embarrassment or shame or regret. So there seems to be a disconnect there that makes him seem sort of like a calculating machine. And I have to say that his movements and the way he was reacting made me think that for at least some of the time he was reliving in his mind the images of killing these people and sort of enjoying it. I think that you saw some of these little flickers that made him look alive, but I think he was sitting back and enjoying the memories, because a lot of offenders like this do.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.